Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing another change I have made to my home fire alarm system. I have to put this at the start of every video because people always ask, why do you put a fire alarm system in your house? And I've had some people pretty angry at me about it. I've put this commercial fire alarm system in for multiple reasons. One is it's an interest of mine and it allows me to make videos to educate others on the subject, as well as what was in the house before. The residential smoke alarms just were not working very well and they weren't reliable. I installed this system to offer way better protection. I could customize it exactly how I wanted, do special functions that you could never do with residential alarms. This is a Notifier NFS320C. It is in the larger cabinet. This is the B4 cabinet. Now, the change I've made in today's update on the system is this right here. So what we are looking at is this guy right here. This is a type of annunciator that is used on notifier panels. This particular one is a ACM24-AT. There's been a few different generations of these and they come in different shapes and sizes. You can get some in some sizes without buttons that only have the lights, and these come in different sizes throughout the different generations, like 16, this is a 24, there's a 48 that looks similar to this, and there's a 32, which might be the older style as well. There's different ones. This is a 24 version, so you have 24 lights and buttons, and this one obviously does have buttons on it. Before I get any further into my setup, I want to give a special thanks to a few people. So a shout out and a thank you to 2222 and 2333 for showing me how I have to program this. Also, a shout out to Canadian Alarms for giving me this awesome new addition to the fire alarm system. So thank you for generously gifting this to me, as well as 2222 and 2333 for helping me show me how to program this. So let's actually go over what I'm doing with this, because I'm doing two different things. On the left, I am using it for zone annunciation, and on the right, I am using it for bypass or disable buttons. So I have 7 zones installed here that this is programmed to do. Let's go over those. Obviously, I have more than 7 devices in my house. So what I've done here is I've grouped devices in a certain area together into a zone. So I've gone ahead and zoned this in a way that would make sense for how this building is set up and this system is set up. So I have zone 1 is all my general level 1 devices. Zone 2 is all of my level 2 devices. Zone 3 is the garage in the main house building. I wanted to set that up as a different zone and not just have it attached to level 1, as that is kind of a separate area. Zone 4 is something that I have done for the future. Zone 4 is not set up yet. We have no way to make that light up. But Zone 4 will be the little shed underneath the deck on the house that is pretty much connected to the house. So I think I will eventually likely add devices into there. So I wanted to create a zone for that, as that is its separate space. Zone 5 is the house attic. And zone 6 is our duct smoke detector on our HVAC unit here. And then zone 7 is not a fire alarm condition, but a supervisory. That is when the garage fire alarm system activates, it will put a supervisory on this building system. So I wanted to have that as its own zone. Then we have some disables, which I have a signal disable, a relay disable, and a garage building B tie-in disable. I will kind of show how those are programmed. Let's look at how this thing is wired. Now that we've popped that open, we can open this guy up. So this annunciator only needs 4 wires to operate. Unlike my LCD 280 that's at the front door, you can see all of these wires from this blue going to the left are the communication to my front door annunciator. There's a transmit receive, positive and negative for both of those, and it needs 24 volts power. That is for this here at the front door. This annunciator is running on terminal which is why it needs 6 wires opposed to 4. And from what I've heard about these annunciators from those that have experience setting these up ACS, that it's really a pain and you don't really get much benefit from it. Maybe it's a little bit quicker, but this works just fine for me. It functions completely fine, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. So that works just fine with 6 wires. This guy, on the other hand, is ran ACS, not terminal. So it still needs 24 volt power, so that's why we've got 2 different sets of wires coming off our non-resettable power. But then these thicker wires here, you can see those are on EIA480, which is ACS, versus those guys you might be able to see through there is on term for terminal. So there that is on that end. 2 wires communication, 2 wires for power. That goes into this guy here. Here's your 2 wires for power. You can see your 24 volts and your reference, which is basically negative. And then your ACS negative, ACS positive. Now there's multiple terminals for each because these are intended to have a bank of a bunch of these where you have to go out to the next one, which, because it has that functionality of having multiple, you actually have to set the address on this guy here. Looks like in theory you could have up to 99 of these on a system. You can see this is just set to address 1. This is just like a device would be. These have a little connector here for a key lock to disable its function, and we have some dip switches up here, which the only one that is not on its normal position is the piezo. I have the piezo on this guy disabled, as we have a piezo right in the panel. We don't want to have 2 piezos because then they'll be out of sync and it'll just sound like crap. You can see we have a disable enable ELR terminate here, which you can see right now that is set to enable. Now that is because this is the only one. This is sort of like an end of line from what I understand. If this is the last device, you turn that on and that will supervise it. And if that's off, that would mean that isn't the end of line. But as you see, that didn't do anything on here, so I'm wondering if that's only for terminal or something. I'm not exactly sure on that. Sorry about that. You can see you do have some LEDs here, basically polling just like a device would be. That is just telling you there's activity, it's talking. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with the dip switches, but I don't know all of it and I don't feel like going through it. You can see I just got my cables ran through here. I kind of left some extra here to act as a hinge for the door. You can see you can put one here or you can put one here. I wanted it on this side because that's the side you walk up to when you first come in here. So that's about all there is to see for that inside here. To program this, to hook it up to the computer, I used this guy here, your PC/CRT. You see you have your common here. Those guys, I'm not sure if it matters. Sometimes it might, and if it doesn't work, you have to reverse them. Usually you can plug in to a USB. You can see that USB is completely destroyed there. And some panels have a USB-C port on them, or maybe it's a micro. Can't remember, but mine didn't have an alternate USB port, so that's that. So I'll give a demo of this guy now. We can disable our signals. So you saw that disabled our bell circuits. So you can see signal disable is now illuminated. So you see disable software zone signal. NAC 1 is disabled. NAC 2 is disabled. Building B, okay, that's something for the future. I want to add a chime for building B, and number 4 is disabled. So I just assigned all of those NAC circuits to zone 99 and made 99 my signal disable. I will show you guys that on the program. And for relays, I only have one relay module on here, which is this guy, but it's actually doing a lot because you get 2 relays on this guy, as well as this is controlling a 24 volt coil relay, which then gives you 2 more contacts. So basically out of that one, you get 4 contacts, kind of 3 because the one's just controlling that, but you get the idea. So if we hit this, watch that relay pulling and watch it stop when we hit this guy here. So there you can see relay disable. That's zone 98 is relay disabled. So HVAC shutdown / garage tie-in building B is disabled. We can go ahead and give us a fire alarm condition now. Now this is in the basement, level 1, so that should come up as zone 1, and we should have no HVAC shutdown or signals go off. Let's give it a test. Acknowledge that. There's our fire alarm. And you can see we have a red light for our fire alarm condition in zone 1. But then also you heard no signals went off. This relay is already bypassed. So because of that, our furnace is still running, didn't shut down. As well as our fire door here is still held open. I do still get an email alert on my phone as the relays built into the panel are not bypassable. You cannot disable those. Those will always function, which that is something I knew when I set up my monitoring, and I figured if there's one thing that I don't want to bypass, it's going to be that, because I could have put that on that relay too, and then put the garage building tie-in. So this sets off the garage building into supervisor if this goes into alarm. And I thought I'd rather have that be something that can be bypassed than a notification on my phone. So we can reset this here. Holy crap, I'm sure it doesn't show up on the video, but here it is storming out there hard. I can hear it. Something interesting with this panel is even if I take the signal disable off when it's in alarm, it doesn't act as if it's in alarm. You can see the relay's back enabled, but it didn't shut anything down, as well as our fire alarms didn't go off. You can see we also have this disable, which will disable our garage building from being able to put this building into supervisory. So if I was to set off the fire alarm in the garage building, it would not give any supervisory in here, which is nice. If I'm going to be doing some work in there, I can hit this, acknowledge it, and then leave this system alone. It won't go off. For whatever reason, it does also put our zone 7 building B into a trouble, which I didn't expect it to, but I don't really see that as a problem. It's not hurting anything. It's like, I guess it is in trouble because it's not being monitored. It's kind of weird that it's actually doing that, but I don't actually have a problem with that. I don't see that as a flaw. It's just kind of a little fluke with it, which really isn't doing anything wrong. It's, if anything, it's just double getting the signal across that, hey, this is disabled. So we can go ahead and reset this system now. Probably won't let me take that off until it's initialized. Somebody has been asking me that they wanted me to do a lamp test, so I can do that again here, and I can do it even better now that we've got this guy. So if you hold that for a couple seconds, there you see that lights up all of the LEDs. You can see there's a yellow and a red for everything. Our on-line LED should always be illuminated. Take that off yet? Not yet. And lamp test on the panel. Now if you hold this for long enough, it'll give you firmware version and all your other information on the panel. Just to give a demo here, if we turn on the piezo on this guy, and then if we put the system into trouble somehow, pull an ACK. There you hear this one too. That's the panel. So we'll leave that off because we don't need two piezos going here. Plug that NAC back in there. Shit, I didn't need to reset that with self-restore, whatever. I should mention, if you're going to use a serial cable like I did, oftentimes you will need your 232 driver, RS232. This is called UC, but you'll need a driver to run it. Just something I thought I'd point out as I did run into that. And I use the labelies to make the labels for the annunciator. That's what you can use to make labels for almost all of the Honeywell annunciators. So that's what I used for my new ACM24 AT, as well as the LCD280 for the front door. So here I just opened the labelies so you see all the different things you can program. ACM16, ACM16AT expander, the 24AT one button group. That's what I did, is each button's got it. It's just one grouping per button, but you can see if you do like a 4-button group, it just changes how many buttons are sort of in one group sort of thing. So you can see the 4-button groups just divides each group into 4 different buttons here. And you can type in there and use all these different symbols. There's all kinds of stuff. I'll just show you some of the other options there. There's your 48, your ACM32, 32 expander, 48, LCD 80. Where's the LCD2? Yeah, there's the LCD280. And then these little guys, RZA 4X, RZA 5X. These are for like your little panels. And then you got your LED 10 zone. This is kind of an interesting one just because I've got this one at my school for the smoke control system. There you see you've got your, I think they actually call it fan use, on off for dampers, open close. So that's what it's meant for, like fans and damper control, smoke control systems really. Anyways, you get the idea of that. So open project. So here I'll kind of show you what's going on, the basics of it. It's not something I'm super good at. Here on our ACM, our annunciator here. Here's my my different zones right here, which here's our different zones, but we've got zone 1 through 6. This one is zone 7. I think that was our garage monitor, so that one's just in here as loop 1 module 5 module. And then down here we've got zone 99 as an enable disable, same with 98. Enable disable, this is doing a module right there. And I think we can go to general zones here because I had to rezone the whole system basically because everything I just left it as default. So then we've got our different zones here, what they're called, and then the zone that they correspond to. So level 1, zone 1, you can see how that works there. If we scroll down to 99, 98 relay disable, 99 signal disable, and if we go to SLC loops, because I had to change that too, loop 1 is all we got, I had to rezone things. So we can click the drop down once more and go to just say detectors here. And I also did set up pre-alarm here. So pre-alarm comes at 5. It's basically your sensitivity 1 through 9, apparently it is. And then I had to add these to a zone. So like this is zone 1, zone 3. You can just see basically what zone it's set to. You can have layers of zones and you can have multiple zones added to the same device for different sequences and correlations and stuff. But you can see how that is. And if we go to modules here, you can see we got one on zone 98, so that would be a relay. HVAC shutdown, yes it is. And same idea. But then we can also go to bell circuits here. And here I've got multiple zones going on. I'll explain why that is. And this I'm actually going to put down there because I'm going to want number 3 as a future addition I'm planning to do. And I'll have a chime for the garage set as number 4. I just like the way it looks better that way. But you can see here we have basically zone 99 is our first one here. Zone 99 is our disable. And then zone 0 means it will go off on any alarm. Now we want zone 0 in there because that's what's going to actually make it go off. Zone 0 will go off on any alarm regardless of devices. However, we don't want this set to 0 and this to be 99, because that would mean that the zone 0 is ahead of our 99 disabled and would override our disable. We want our disable zone to be first, and then that will override your zone 0 to set off anything. And then our ZF8, that is just our system sensor synchronization protocol. So there might be a little more to this, but that's all I can think of to show for right now, and gives kind of the basic rundown. I'm not a pro at this. I've done this very few times, so I don't want to falsely spread any information here on how you do it. So that's my new ACM24-AT. I don't want to drag this video on too long, as we will be seeing this in many of my videos to come anyways, as pretty much every system test. It's going to light up something on this annunciator, because everything on the system is in at least one of those zones on here. And it's very nice to have the disable functions, as before you had to hit enter, go 1 for programming, put in your level 2 password, maybe level 1 would let you do it, and then scroll to say outputs, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4 individually. You had to hit each one, enter, then go back out, hit number 2 for that one, enter, go in, disable it, and you had to do that every time, or find your module for relay disable or garage tie-in. So this is way more convenient, just being able to simply hit a button and disable a function, and just hit it once again to re-enable it. Obviously, if you have functions like this, it has to be in a locked panel, or in a locked room like an electrical room, or in a locked annunciator cabinet, then that's fine. This would be better to be at my front door to have your actual zone annunciation, but I didn't have a 2-bay annunciator box, and those things are so expensive. I'd have to cut the wall bigger, and I already had this open hole in this panel anyway, so I was like, well, I might as well put this here, because I'm not going to pay the amount that they want for a bigger 2-bay annunciator cabinet. So I'll put it here, and it's nice to have the disables here, and I still like it. So that's going to be this video. I hope you did enjoy this video, and again, big thanks to those of you that helped me. And again, big thanks to those who helped me program this. I will put links to their channels in the description if you want to go give them some support. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you do have any comments or questions, feel free to leave those down in the comment section down below. And if you do enjoy my channel, make sure to subscribe. Also, if you are interested, I do have an Instagram account at Pickle700 for bonus content posted earlier than you'd see it on the YouTube channel, stuff like that. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching.